Hi, Mike Brantley, auctioneer, here with you again. Want to talk about my work as an auction law expert witness and possibly dispel some rumors that are flying around. I started a blog in November of 2009. I didn't have any idea what an expert witness was, had no premeditation, plan, scheme, any of that to become an auction law expert witness. Actually, the story is I had written an article, requested to write an article for the Michigan Auctioneers Association, incidentally known then as the Michigan State Auctioneers Association, about absolute auctions, how absolute auctions are to be conducted and not conducted. I had written that article in, I believe, Microsoft Word. I was sitting at my kitchen table with my laptop in Westerville, Ohio, northeast Columbus, Ohio, one evening, and ran across WordPress.com, not WordPress.org, WordPress.com. I thought, this is interesting. You can create an account, you can create it for free, and I did just that. And I thought, what a great place to maybe memorialize that article. I went over to Microsoft Word, I copied, I went over to WordPress, I hit paste. I wouldn't say that was my greatest work by any measure, but I memorialized it. I saved it in WordPress. I was kind of fascinated with WordPress. I had been teaching at an auction school. I had taught at a few different state associations in the Midwest at that time in 2009. And I've always studied and researched and found auction law, customary practice, industry standards, commercial reasonableness, interesting topics, the rights, the wrongs, the gray area, if there's any gray area. And so I kept writing. I wrote another article. I wrote another article. I wrote another one. Hit publish, hit publish, hit publish. Might have wrote a dozen or more that first month, and thereon for about a year. My good friend Peter Garris got a hold of me. He said, "Hey, you're writing some good stuff here. This is good material, but you need to share on Facebook, share on LinkedIn, other social media sites." And I did just that. I started to get even more traffic. Even the statistics page, which I think all WordPress users have access to. You can see how many views, how many hits, what they clicked on, where they were when they clicked, how they came in, how they left. I started to see more traffic, which kind of in turn encouraged me to write more. The more I wrote, the more comments I was getting, the more interest I was getting. Subscribers were routinely putting in their email address to get, I think I've got over 1,000, maybe 1,200, 1,300 people that get an email every time I hit publish here in 2020. Well, it was early 2010, maybe springtime, as I recall, that I got a call from an attorney in New Orleans, Louisiana. He says, "Is this Mr. Brantley?" I said, "It is." I said, "How can I possibly help you?" He said, "Well, we have a case here in New Orleans. It's in the federal court system. It's a bankruptcy case, auction house. I need you to come down to New Orleans, testify in this case, provide us some guidance." I said, "You want me to what? I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "Well, I've read some of your stuff online. You seem to have a good understanding of what I need for this case. You run an auction house. You ought to be able to help us. I need you down here. Can you be down here Tuesday?" I said, "Yeah, I can be down here Tuesday. I love New Orleans. Wonderful weather, good food." So I flew down, took a cab to the hotel, took a cab over to his office, and we talked about and discussed reviewing documents, which took a day or two or three, and writing a report, and me being stipulated as a expert witness and that kind of thing. And then I left. The trial was down the road. This was all preliminary. He took me to the airport, dropped me off. "Here's my bags." He says, "Hey, by the way, you forgot something." I said, forgot something. He said, yeah, your bill. I said, I don't know anything about a bill. I said, you paid for everything, for my flight, my ground, my bags, my hotel, my food, and we ate well. He said, no, you're an expert witness. You charge by the hour. I said, I do? He said, yes, you do. He said, I've hired expert witnesses for a lot of years. They always have an hourly rate. Tell me what your hourly rate is. I had no idea what to tell him. I had no idea. He said, well, you were here, you worked 20 hours plus or minus, and we covered all your expenses. How would $3,000 be? I thought, yeah, $3,000 is about $3,000 more than I was expecting. He said, well, let's just make it that. I said, thank you. He said, no, my pleasure. And I got on the plane. Came back home, even more inspired. Thought, gosh, somebody really is reading. An attorney in New Orleans is reading what I'm writing. And I kept writing. Not so much to find the next attorney, but because I really enjoyed it. And it was fun. And people were commenting on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I was getting text messages and emails and phone calls. And so I continued. This year, 2020, I've, from 2010 to today, been involved in 33 fairly substantial auction claims, lawsuits, maybe a dozen or so in the 10 million or more, maybe 5 over 20 million, 2 over 40 million. Most recently here, our biggest case, if you measure it by dollars, was before the New York Supreme Court. The claim from a client in China who had hired attorneys in New York City was for $75.2 million. I find the work terribly interesting, seeing the insides of some of these cases, claims, depositions, affidavits, lawsuit paperwork I've seen, video, I've listened to audio, I've looked at contracts, marketing, advertising, websites. Fascinating, fascinating work. But the point of this video, I had no predetermined set idea that I wanted to be doing this. In fact, as I said, I didn't know this type of work even existed. We work for auctioneers when we can, and when auctioneers really misbehave, we view it as working for the auction industry, to better the auction industry. So that's the story. That's how I got where I am today. We're fairly busy with the expert witness work around the United States and with clients all over the world. And so that's how we got here. But to rest maybe the accusation is the right word, claim that this was all premeditated, all planned, that I wanted to be what I've become. That wasn't the case at all. Mike Brantley, Auctioneer. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have other videos coming your way and other videos on the same page. We invite you to take a look. Have a great day.